First of all, let me start off by saying that the United States government, matter of fact, let me back that up. Let me back this up. This is what I'm going to say. Most of us in the world believe America, Israel, the West, the Arab nations, that most people believe that the United States is somehow subservient to Israel and the Zionist beliefs of Israel, and will do anything and spend any amount of money to protect that whole subservient partnership with Israel. Mostly all of us believe that. The Jews control everything, the newspapers, all that. They're in control of America in the United States. Most American citizens believe that. Most individuals in the Jewish world in Israel believes that. Most people that are in the Arab Muslim world believe that as well. When you look at the facts, that is contrary. It is contrary. Israel is at total service to the United States and the Western world that set it up in the Middle East to be what I would call a Zionist colonial policy asset. That's basically what it is. It's a Zionist colonial policy asset. That's what the Western world and the United States set it up to be. Now, you saying, what do I mean when I say a policy asset? That means you are there to serve the individuals who set you up as that policy asset, who set up your nation, who invested in your nation, who's weaponizing your people. You are there to serve their means, their objectives only. Can you bring citizens here? Can you fill up the country with people? We prefer you do this. But when that time comes, that the safety of your people and our policy for what we set you up for clash, so goes your people. I know what you're saying right now. I know what you're saying. Joe, is you saying that the United States do not care, the United States government and the Western nations that support Israel do not care about the Israeli people at all? Or the nation of Israel at all? Hell yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you know what I'm about to do? Is give you proof with history. We about to tell the truth. Let's start at 10,000 or 1,000, AD. When the Crusades happened. For those of you who don't know what the Crusades were, around 1000 AD, the borders between the nations of Christianity that were very young and growing and spreading ran into those borders of Islam. And thus we have what is called the Crusades. That is 1000 AD. They were exterminating Jews in Europe. Britain, France, Germany, wherever there was Zionist Christians, Jews got exterminated. And at the same time, they took the Old Testament from the Jews. Just confiscated it. Put it with their Christian text, which was written by individuals of Christianity. They put these two texts together and waged war on everybody else who had any other religious beliefs. So Jews got persecuted. So for a Jew in 1000 AD, best refuge was to go to where people didn't want to harm them. Who was that? The Muslims. The Muslims was fighting the same individuals. These wars that they called the Crusader Wars, which was probably like 4 or 5 of them, were wars between Christianity and between Islam and Islamic nations. So it was natural for a Jew to seek refuge in these areas. Yes, the Jews were living with Arabs. That was the safest place that they had during that time period of 1000 AD. And this went on for centuries where the Jews were persecuted by Zionist Christians. You admitted you was a Jew, you were done. You think Jews just got into Palestine when the United States set up the nation of Israel with what they call the newly established NATO, European Western nations, with this colonialistic idea, policy agenda, set this nation up in the East in 1940 something, 47? Come on. You think that was the first time that there were Jews in that area? Jews have been living in that Jews have been living in that area for centuries. Because the Arabs never had problems with them. The Arabs were their friends. So, you think Hitler got the idea to exterminate millions of Jews just off the whim of just wanting to pick up people to torture? No. This had been going on in Europe for hundreds of years. And when I talk about Adolf Hitler, I'm talking about World War II, the Nazis, their attack against Europe and the United States. They're allying with nations like Japan and Italy to launch a world war, which was well underway by 1941. Started by the Germans like 1939. They didn't just get this idea to torture Jews from anywhere. They got it because it had been happening in Europe for hundreds of years. Oh yes, the Nazis exterminated millions of Jews. The biggest supporters of Nazi Germany were in America, was American corporations, Standard Oil, DuPont, okay, the Union Bank in New York, that was funneling money to Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, and were caught for it, brought up on charges during World War II by the United States under the Trading with the Enemies Act. United States had spies in Germany during World War II. They knew exactly what Hitler was doing to the Jews. Show me in American or British history these nations that are responsible for so-called caring about the welfare of the Jews. Show me in any of their dialogues, any of their documentation involving the war against Germany, did they say, oh, we need to get up in there because they exterminating Jews? They had spies in there. They knew what Hitler was doing. Then you know what's really crazy? You Jewish and Palestinian Muslim people need to listen to me. This is what makes it really crazy. They made the Jews believe that the United States government were the ones who went in there and liberated the Jews from the German concentration camps. That is not true. Russia were the ones who did that. Russia is the nation that freed you from them camps. It came up in there, the Germans had to run, not the United States. But because you are a policy asset of the United States, they got you what? Fighting with the Russians too. They got you fighting with everybody who has ever gave you refuge. Let me give you one more point. With the United States government and its relationship with the Nazis, they brought over every Nazi scientist that created bombs to drop on y'all, chemicals to kill you, weapons to work more efficiently where they could kill more of you. Jews, Brits, Americans, it didn't make a difference. Every scientist that built these weapons were taken by the United States with an open hand. The United States government, not its people, the government, under a secret operation called Paperclip, gave them jobs, big houses. And what was their job? Come up with a more efficient way to kill the Jew. To kill our enemies. Some of those scientists, let's tell the truth, ugly as it is, some of them scientists were dissecting Jews, doing experiments on them, cutting them open like they were frogs in a easily to be disregarded in a high school science class. They brought them over here too. Gave them big old houses. They ain't asked the American people, because the American people just lost thousands in fighting against what they thought was evil for what was good. The United States government and the Western governments that claim to support you today don't care nothing about you. They have no love for you. They hate the Israeli Jew as much as they hate the Arabs. And they got both of these groups fighting each other. Why? Because you serve the policy purposes of the United States. Look at the United States right now. Look at the death toll. They are making you do things as an Israeli people that you know that you are against. Your religion puts you against. Period. And you're looking like monsters to the whole world. Because you letting the United States push, and the Western world, the United States government, and the Western world push this agenda where there's going to be nothing in your life but pain, suffering, killing, destruction, and war. My message to the Israeli people is this, and it is simple. First of all, I'm going to tell you is that you have to get rid of the diasporous Jew. Now, what do I mean when I say the diasporous Jew? The diasporous Jew is an individual, a Jewish nationality who lives in your country, or Jewish ethnic background, who lives in your country with dual citizenship, meaning he has citizenship in Israel and citizenship in another country. Now, out of all the people who live in Israel, 20% of the people who live there have dual citizenship. And half of that 20% works in the Israeli government. 20% of them work in the Israeli government, meaning you have individuals who are supposed to be serving the best interest of your nation residing in other nations, having citizenship in other places. That doesn't make any sense. How do you know where that politician, that Jewish, diasporous politician's loyalties lie? There should be a law. The first thing you should do as a people in Israel is pass a law that no individual who lives, who serves in the Israeli government can have dual citizenship in another country. You should make sure that that person's interest, life, blood is connected to the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel only. Diasporous Jews are part-time Jewish Zionists. They are part-time citizens of Israel. They're part-time countrymen. That has to end. And when you look at the diasporous Jew, he is the most radical. He's the most against you becoming friends with the neighbors who live around you, and to make your financial and economic agreements with them, allowing that oil and Gulf oil money to flow through your nation. The diasporous Jew is the most dangerous one, most radical one of allowing that to happen. Because what is the diasporous Jew's job? Their job is to look at terrorist groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, and make no difference between the ordinary Arab citizen who is not a participant in the actions of these so-called terrorist groups. Their jobs is to make all of them look the same. Kill them all. And if they die, then it's Hamas' fault. If innocent Palestinians die, it's Hamas' fault. If innocent Iraqis die, it's Al-Qaeda's fault. If innocent Syrians die, Lebanese individuals die, then it is Hezbollah's fault. That is their goal. So you have to not get rid of the diasporous Jew, but you have to unradicalize his thinking as a people. And once again, like I say, make a law. Making sure that the individuals who serve in your government, who serve your nation, interest is with your nation. Right now, like I said, you have people working in your government who have dual citizenship here in the United States and other countries in the Western worlds and Europe. They are more likely to retire there when they're finished with their political life than live in Israel. Netanyahu is more likely to retire in Florida before he retires in any place in Israel. Everything that I have told you in this video about the Jewish persecution and those responsible and have the blood on their hands of Jews can be historically checked as accurate. You remember the little tidbit I gave you guys about the Union Bank in New York during World War II? The bank that was funneling millions of dollars to Adolf Hitler, his Nazis, helping them build that war machine. And I told you they were brought up on charges by the United States government under the presidential leadership of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And when they were convicted, it was under the presidency of Harry S. Truman, who took over after Roosevelt's death in office. You want to know? There were 2 CEOs brought up as the main focus of that investigation on those charges. You want to know who one of them was? One of them was Prescott Bush. You want to know who Prescott Bush is? He's the father of George H.W. Bush, President Bush, the one who fought the first war in Iraq against Saddam back in the early 90s. That bank was dissolved under the presidency of Harry S. Truman. And you know what the 2 CEOs got? Bush and Harriman. They got $5 million each. Prescott Bush got $5 million for funneling money through the Union Bank of New York to German Nazis so that they could kill, maim American citizens, British citizens, and take Jews and throw them in concentration camps. Thus started the Bush fortune. United States and the Western world have done nothing but reward the individuals who killed and persecuted Jews, because these same Zionists, when they set up America, came over here from Europe with these same Zionist ideas and bigot feelings against a fellow man, the Jew. Your only way out of this, secondly, is to cut your ties with the Western nations. Cut your support with them. Work with your Muslim brothers, the Muslim nations that live around you, the Arab nations that live around you. The Arab nations have nations, and I'm not talking about terrorist groups. I'm talking about the nations, the people, have always left the door open for peace with Israel. Always left that door open because they know they are an exploitation, a policy asset of the United States to destabilize that region. Because the same old colonial Christian Zionist ideas exist in America and in every Western nation supporting Israel today. And those Zionist ideas throughout history for hundreds of years have shown hatred. Hatred for the Jew and hatred for the Muslim. The Israeli people. I know you are ashamed of your nation's actions right now, and I know that you are a better people than the politicians who serve you. Wake up. Make the best decision for your people. And understand who are truly your friends and your enemies. Once again, my name's Joe Lewis. Thank you for watching another episode of Let's Tell the Truth. And please, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon when you do, so that every time I post videos, you'll be alerted to that. And once again, most importantly, share these videos. My goal is to inspire a dialogue. And through dialogue, we reach understanding, peace, love, and prosperity to you all. Thank you.